Hey guys, it's Stella from Hot and Moving. Oh man, this Jalen Hurts conversation has been nauseating, man. I mean, ever since the NFL put out the top 10 quarterback rankings list, from execs and scouts and all that stuff, right? And Jalen Hurts, I believe he was rated with the 10th best quarterback or the 9th or something like that. Whatever it was. They had Justin Herbert ahead of him for crying out loud, right? I mean, that started a whole debate, a whole discussion. And it is crazy to me, man. Like, the criteria for being an elite quarterback, I mean, it seems like the goalpost moves a lot when every now and then there's a player that comes in, wins games, does what the team is needed. That's not enough. You got to be an ultimate light show, gaudy stats to be viewed as, a top 10 quarterback, or in the higher top 10 in the league, right? Crazy. For me, Jalen Hurts, you put stats aside, it's not like his stats is awful, okay? But if you put stats aside, I mean, he's a top 5, top 6 quarterback. Top 7 quarterback at minimum. Okay. Sure, there's guys you would prefer to have that put up numbers. Hey, maybe you want a Herbert, maybe you want a Matthew Stafford, maybe you want a Jared Goff. You like the numbers and whatnot, right? I want a gamer. I want a big game quarterback. I want a big game hunter quarterback. That's who I want. Jalen Hurts is that dude. All right, man, let's get into the comments that's been going viral from Cam Newton. And people are talking about it, okay? This is what he had to say on his 4th and 1 podcast. He said, it's hard for me to grade Jalen Hurts with the talent that he has around him. Newton said on his 4th and 1 show, Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback, but if we're talking about what they bring to the table historically, it's hard to judge what Jalen Hurts can do when you're throwing to a guy like A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. We have tight end skill sets. You have a dominant defense and the best running back in the game. Okay. Let's see. His comments are regarding elicited response from former Eagles wide receiver Torrey Smith, who has also teammates with Newton on the Carolina Panthers during the season. So Jalen is the only QB that gets punched because he has a competent GM. And Jalen does his job with what he has. Every other GM is trying to put their QB in the same situation. Jalen Hurts, superhero ball is overrated. Amen, Torrey Smith, and that's exactly correct. I mean, it's shocking to hear Cam Newton make those kind of comments, but I'm not surprised. Cam Newton, we're getting close to football season. Cam Newton be getting viral. Be getting fights at 7-on-7 camps, and he be caping from Joy Taylor. He be saying all kinds of wild shit. This one don't agree with. Got people chirping. And look, man, this dude just won Super Bowl MVP, coming off a Super Bowl championship, been to 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years. All right. I mean, impressive resume. I get it. His numbers may not be that ginormous. His numbers may not be big. Who cares? The guy wins. The guy is durable for the most part. All right. And when he's in big games, highly contested games, put him on a big stage. You want Jalen Hurts, hands down, right? When the history looks back at Jalen Hurts, because my gut feeling, I don't think this is his last. Obviously, I think he has a chance to win another Super Bowl. I mean, this guy, you can make the case that he should have 2 Super Bowls already, and you could be looking at a situation where Mahomes and Jalen Hurts are the quarterback of this era. This new recent era we've had the last 5 years in totality. I'm not saying that Hurts is Mahomes or whatever. That's impossible standard. I'm not saying it. But if you want to talk about a guy that can go toe to toe and look him straight across and be like, hey, let's lace him up and let's go get this game, right? Jalen Hurts has been that dude. People look back at the Tom Brady era and look at how Eli Manning in big spots versus Tom Brady, right? You can say the same thing in a different package, but very similar fundamentally, concept-wise, that, yeah, Jalen Hurts has been that dude against Patrick Mahomes. You can make the argument, like I said, hey, he could have 2 Super Bowls easily as well. Okay. I don't know like why as a Super Bowl winning quarterback, you got guys like Cam Newton, a guy who's been to 2 Super Bowls. He's been in multiple, Jalen Hurts been in 2 Super Bowls, won Super Bowl MVP. He finished second MVP that one year. When he got to the Super Bowl to face the Chiefs. I get it. The number, I get it. If you want to throw that, if you want to rank it based off of numbers, fine. But numbers don't tell you the whole story. I mean, you saw Joe Burrow, right? I mean, he had an all year, offensive year. Okay, defense was bad, right? And you saw what Torrey Smith said. He's like, yo, GM is doing his job. Howie Roseman is one of the best NFL architects in the history of the game. I mean, the way they're able to pivot, rebuild, you know what I'm saying? And I do think the Eagles will deconstruct fairly quickly soon, right? You know what I'm saying? That's how the Eagles do it. They will AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley, you name it. If they need to start moving pieces around and cutting ties, they will rebuild. They'll have a down year for maybe a year or two, and they are right back in championship contention. And that is what the Eagles have done. They have mastered roster management, and they have built an elite team around Jalen Hurts, while Jalen Hurts is also, in my opinion, I think he is an elite quarterback, absolutely. Elite in terms of mentality, leadership, and what he does on the field, the rushing, the scrambling, rushing for touchdowns, okay. Penalizing him because, like he said, they have a smart GM to build a team around a quarterback that is their future, is either in the future now and in the foreseeable future. I mean, it's absolutely crazy to me, right? If you want to go ahead, have your Trevor Lawrences, have your Justin Herberts, not even share Baker Mayfield, have your Baker Mayfields, you know what I'm saying? Have your Jared Goffs, that's all fine. Have those guys. If I have a chance to get a Jalen Hurts on my team, I absolutely get Jalen Hurts. Now, if he's not top 10 in fantasy football, if he's not top 10, in your fantasy football draft, or he's not in the top 5, top 6, that's a different discussion. Okay. You may not get the numbers, you may not get the fantasy points you're looking for, is what this whole conversation seems to boil down to. Very disrespectful conversation it seemed like we had with Jalen Hurts for a guy who's won off a championship. The conversation should be, could this Eagles team repeat? Could Jalen Hurts possibly have an MVP season, right? But no, we want to. Oh, he has this much. Oh, he has that. We can't really evaluate Jalen Hurts. What the fuck are we talking about here? Y'all let me know what y'all thinking about, man. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe. I'm out.